Hello everyone, and welcome back to Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Previously, it was discovered that Romain Lutus, who was a secret Interpol agent, he was here not to investigate Lemire, but Maki Tobai, because Maki had been smuggling out cocoons. Cocoons that are miracle medicines of Virginia, but doing so, unfortunately, is a crime punishable by death, so things aren't really looking good for Maki. And things weren't looking good for Lemire either, because someone assailed her and tried to kill her while she was alone. This case has been getting intense. And now here we are at the very beginning of what I do believe is the final court session for this case, so let's get right in there. Ahem. My apologies for the delay. Court is now in session for the trial of... how do you say this name again?
Maki Tobai, our suspect fortissimo.
Right. It's his trial in any case.
The defense is prepared, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready to rock.
Is something wrong, Your Honor?
No, well, yes. It's just, I've been friends with the Chief Justice since we were students. It pains me to see him going through such a difficult time.
Incuritis, was it? That article said there is no known cure.
Judge, let me say, with all honesty, I feel your pain. But now is not the time for tears. Now is the time for law.
Indeed. We left off at quite the juncture yesterday. I asked Interpol about that number. IPXX 314206. The agent registered under this number was Romain Lutus.
Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescent. It's a great help.
Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out.
Wait! That voice just now. It was him. I am sure of it.
It was him?
That voice I heard talking to Mr. Lutus when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darien.
No way!
Quite a sensational ending. Who would have thought Darien would guest star in the season cliffhanger as a suspect? I ask the prosecution to look into this matter. Please tell the court your findings. Darien Crescent is a member of my band, the Gaviners. He is also a detective, making the current charges serious indeed. Yet, after investigation, I have found no cause to alter our case or file new charges.
And your reason is?
Weren't you aware, Air Forehead? He has an impeccable alibi.
An alibi?
Let us review the facts again, shall we? The concert held on the night of the shooting was in 3 sets. The Gaviners ripped up the stage during the first set. For the second set, our guest took center stage. The only performers appearing were myself, Lemire, and Maki, along with the drummer and bassist, for a total of 5. The shooting in the dressing room, however, took place during the third set. Lemire and the defendant, Maki Tobai, had left the stage at that point, and the Gaviners were already rocking. This is when 2 shots rang out at the scene of the crime. Shots heard by Detective Emma Skye, mind you.
And Apollo? You heard them too, right?
I sure did. Furthermore, Lemire herself witnessed the moment of the crime. Well, perhaps I should say she heard the moment of the crime. when she claims to have heard Mr. Latouche and Detective Crescent talking.
But that's impossible. Detective Crescent was...
Precisely. Detective Crescent was on stage getting his groove on, no less. Voila. A perfect alibi.
Does the defense have anything to add to this?
It's true. When I heard those gunshots, he must have been on stage. Still, there's something here that doesn't quite add up.
It appears the defense has no objections. I believe we can safely say that Darian Crescent's alibi has been acknowledged.
Which means that Lemire was sadly mistaken.
Well, Darian could have been speaking through the speakers. Could have been his speakers that the voice was ringing out through, that Lemire heard.
Her testimony cannot be true.
Very well. Of course, if we disregard her testimony, then I see no evidence keeping us from declaring a verdict. If indeed there are no objections.
Oh, Apollo, if he declares a verdict now...
But Prosecutor Gavin's case is airtight. Lemire might have been lying to protect Maki. How can I rely on her testimony? Wait, what about yesterday in the detention center? About the case? What about the case? He wants to tell us about Mr. Latouche's death?
This meeting's over.
Darian?
Maki was trying to tell us something. I know it. Maybe the best thing to do is ask him. Under oath.
Very well. The court finds the defendant, or what was his name again?
Your Honor!
No, that wasn't it. It was something like Marquis or Mr. Justice?
Your Honor, before you declare a verdict, I would like to call another witness. Exactly who else do you need to hear from? A witness who, until now, has not been given a chance to speak in this court. Because he doesn't speak English. You don't mean... I do. The defense calls defendant Maki Tobai to the stand.
What? But he doesn't speak English.
We'll use an interpreter. Interpreter? I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. I only speak a few phrases such as, I love you, and where is the toilet?
Sensible things to know.
The defense would like to request Lemire as the interpreter.
Lemire? But there's a possibility she's protecting the defendant.
But she'd be interpreting for the defendant. Why would she lie?
This is most unusual.
Bravo, Air Forehead. Air Judge, the prosecution agrees with the defense's request. If Lemire lies, I'll be able to tell. Even my limited knowledge of the language should be enough for that.
Well, if both prosecution and defense are for this, I see little cause for refusal.
Finally, some progress.
Bailiff, please show the defendant and Lemire to the witness stand.
I suppose there is a first time for everything. Shall we proceed? Wow, they're both standing together. Your name, to begin with. If you would, Lemire. Yes.
He says Maki Tobai, the defendant.
This is certainly a first for this courtroom. Not that we really needed an interpretation of that message in particular.
Oh yeah, I guess you would be able to hear Maki Tobai in that language.
So far, so good. Very well, Mr. Justice, if you would.
Huh? If I would what, Your Honor?
Would what? You called the defendant to the stand, did you not? What would you have him testify about?
What do I want him to testify about? I hadn't thought that far yet. Apollo? Aren't you going to ask him what he was about to tell us yesterday?
How can I if I don't know what he was saying?
Excuse me a moment, if I might speak.
Yes, Lemire?
Just now, Maki said there is something about which he wishes to testify.
Maki wants to testify about something? What could it be? What sort of testimony is he talking about?
One moment, please.
The suspense is killing me.
What?
What? What? Well, Lemire?
According to Maki, he has proof of his innocence.
What? This is a surprise.
Yahoo! Victory, Apollo! We did it!
This is sounding too good to believe. And I know what that usually means. Well, if that's true, then this is vital testimony. Maki, please testify to the court.
Very well.
Oh man, this is going to be interesting. Like, for the bracelet, who would we look at?
He says that word of Mr. Letus's death came as a great shock. But if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song, I, that is, he, could not have done this.
By my son, she means Lemire's song, yes? I'm not sure if Maki is... a songwriter.
He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them.
I see. He wouldn't have understood the English lyrics to the song. I think we talked about this. That would prevent him from following them so closely. I wondered what he meant by proof. Why, he would only have to ask Lemire to know the meaning of that song. Lemire, did you ever explain the lyrics of that song to him?
I did tell him, generally, what the song was about, but never in so much detail, and he never asked.
Has my oft-repeated warning already fled that forehead? Lemire might be protecting the witness. Well, anyway, let us proceed with the cross-examination. Mr. Justice, if you would.
Yes, Your Honor. Something's hidden in that testimony, I know it.
I'll just have to trust my bracelet to tell me where. Ah. It worked yesterday. It'll work today. Well, let's start pressing. Okay, let's take a look at all the body language here. That seems nice. So Lemire's tell was that she was like, clenching her lips and swallowing, apparently. I was told that apparently her tell was that she was swallowing. I didn't look at her throat, just her lips. Let's see. Let's press everything. Were Maki and Mr. Latouche close?
Yes, after we traveled around the world on tour together.
The mirror. This is Maki's cross-examination, not yours.
But I knew the answer.
This is a court of law. We'll play by the book.
I understand. When Prosecutor Gavin's tough, he's really tough. Maki says he was very good friends with Mr. Latouche. Mr. Latouche was always a gentle man, never angry. We got along quite well. I never dreamed something like this would happen. But if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song...
The guitar's serenade, correct?
Yes, the crime followed the lyrics of the song. The theft of the key ring, the burning guitar, and the bullet. This is why it could not have been me. I, that is, he, could not have done it.
By could not have done it, you mean...
It is very simple. Maki could not have done all the things that happened that day. For all those things followed the song lyrics closely. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them.
Wouldn't it be difficult for him to perform without knowing the meaning of the lyrics?
He did know what the song was about, its mood, shall we say. This was enough to play by. I told him it was a song about a guitar in love.
It's not actually the guitar in love, strictly speaking.
Oh? Perhaps I misunderstood.
No, not really. Yours is also a valid interpretation. Okay?
No, it is my fault. I am too used to singing in Borginian. It is much easier than trying to understand these English lyrics. Yay, I knew he was innocent!
I believe he is too, Trucy. I do.
What's wrong, Apollo? A tummy ache or something?
Something's hidden in that testimony. If it's the truth, I'll find it. I think our best shot is to pick apart what would be worst for us. He does not understand them. Oh man. I have to look at Lemire closely. Oh man, you can see Maki's eye. Because the lyrics are in English, oh, no tell. Well, if Maki reacts at all, man, Apollo can really see right through the sunglasses? Oh. Wait. Too slow. That was too slow. Because the lyrics are in English. Well, well. Maki, you can't fool my eyes. You glanced toward her the very moment Lemire said the word English. Why? And don't bother interpreting that. He understands me. Maki, tell the truth. You can understand English, can't you?
What are you saying? Of course he can't.
Must he continue this charade?
Mr. Justice, Maki says this. I know the word English.
Huh?
Before coming to this country, he heard me speaking English. He learned the name for this language, that is all.
What? Give me a break!
Is that such an unusual word to understand?
No, it is not.
Do you not know Espanol, for instance?
Well, yeah, but...
I am sorry, but he truly does not understand your language.
Well, then explain this. How does he know the crime followed the lyrics?
Have you always been such a suspicious-minded lad? It is simple. So simple it hardly requires an explanation. He read about it in the newspaper.
So we can read English because the Borginian newspaper, it doesn't mention the lyrics of Lemure's ballad. Hello.
The newspaper? The Borginian Daily Bugle. You can buy it in this country these days, you know. They have already begun to report this case in our homeland.
I was right.
What is wrong, Mr. Justice? Your eyes, they are quite fierce all of a sudden.
Maki is lying. Maybe it's time to show them proof that he's lying. I have here a Borginian newspaper. The Borginian Daily Bugle, as a matter of fact. Indeed, there is a feature article about the case. Could you read this for me, Maki? That's right. It doesn't mention the lyrics.
What? What does it mean? What is this all about?
I'm sorry, Maki. You couldn't have read about the lyrics in a Borginian newspaper. But here's the thing. Proving that Maki can read English does not prove that he can understand spoken English. What does this mean?
But I don't see how it's possible. Ah, I know. He must have heard the lyrics when the police were doing their questioning. Yes.
Not possible. The subject of the lyrics was not brought up in police questioning. I read the full report myself. So the lyrics weren't in the newspaper and the police didn't mention them. The only place you could have heard them was in this courtroom. In English, no less. The witness will explain herself, or himself.
Maki says... He says...
Yes?
It is true, I read the newspaper. But this is not where I learned of the lyrics. I was mistaken. Now I remember.
You remember?
He says he heard of the lyrics from me.
What? Is this true, Lemure?
Yes. I'm afraid I had forgotten it myself.
Then it looks like Herr Forehead's been jumping to conclusions again. It seems so, yes. No. I was onto something, I know it. I can't let this chance slip away. Time is an issue today. Mr. Justice, are you finished with the cross-examination?
What are you going to do, Apollo?
If I'm going to keep on cross-examining, I better have an angle of attack. Or else... my bracelet's still reacting. Your Honor, please allow me to continue. If you must, you must. Very well, witness.
I understand.
It was I who explained that the crime followed the song. Let's have a look here. We gotta look at Lemire this time. I who explained... Huh. Her lips weren't moving at all at first. Oh, there we go. Gotcha! It wasn't you who told Maki. Maybe it was Latouche? Lemire, I'm currently cross-examining Maki. Why should you be uncertain?
Me? Uncertain?
Yes, you swallowed the moment you told the court. It was I who explained.
I see there is little point in trying to hide anything from you.
Lemire, are you indeed protecting someone?
That is not a question with a simple answer. To tell the truth, I do not believe it myself.
Then allow me to answer for you. Lemire, you're protecting... Well, it has to be Maki, right? This is so blindingly obvious that... like, who else could it possibly be? Or maybe she's protecting herself. So the lie she's caught in is that she's trying to say that she explained the lyrics to him. If Maki heard the lyrics from someone else, who would that protect? Could it be Darien? Or, not Darien, Clavier? Could Clavier have told Maki the lyrics, but... no, it's just too far-fetched. Maybe we're just getting hung up on something that's supposed to be obvious. Lemire, you are protecting Maki. That's why you lied and told us that you had explained how the crime followed the song. I don't fault you for trying to help, but this is not the way. Maki, I believe you didn't do it. Really, I trust you. But you've lied to us twice. And now you have Lemire lying on your behalf. If this is going to work, you have to trust me too. So why did Maki turn his head as he was being admonished? Your two lies cover a simple truth. You understand English. You have to. Well, there it is. A witness, is this true? Do you understand English?
Yes. A little, only. What?
Oh, wait. What? I thought it was a Trucy for some reason. First he could see, now he can talk. And you did not know about this, Lemurrer?
No. I did not. It is quite a surprise.
How many secrets is this witness hiding?
Last. This is last.
Maki, could you tell us what really happened?
No shooting. I did no shooting.
So you weren't in the dressing room when I heard those 2 gunshots, correct?
Apparently, the answer to that question isn't simple either. I was in dressing room, behind desk. Manager, he on floor.
Which would be after the shooting, right?
Then there is voice.
Voice? Or voices? Was it you and Emma, Apollo?
So when Maki went into the dressing room, Mr. Latouche had already been shot. And then we came to the door. Panel, high up. I take off. Run away, run away. So it was you who escaped through that air vent. As the prosecution has held all along, no less. The defendant has admitted to being at the scene. Might we take this as a confession? No, he's clearly denied that he did it.
No shooting. Manager on floor, already on floor.
The victim had already been shot, you say? I find that hard to believe. The defendant understood the song lyrics. He was at the scene of the crime. This can only mean one thing. He is the shooter. Does the defense have anything to say to this? Oh, does the defendant have anything to say to this?
He's clammed up, Apollo.
Then let's ask Mr. Justice. Will you require any further testimony from the witness?
Is that it? Is there nothing else I can get him to testify about? Wait. No, of course there is.
What is this cocoon, anyway? The cocoon, the silk, is a potent cure. A cure? Well, Maki, are you a smuggler? He won't tell me.
That cocoon has to have something to do with this. Maki, please, tell us the truth for your own sake.
No. No more speak. Not to any of you.
So much for your precious trust, Air Forehead. Hey, you were the one who didn't believe him.
Regardless, this brings us to an impasse. It does seem that the defense and defendant are at odds. I doubt we are likely to learn anything more of value should this continue. I see no other course but to declare a 5-minute recess. The defense will work things out with the defendant so that we might proceed.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Usually I'm a believer of the strategy. If you want to get away with something big, you need to take a small hit. In this case, Maki needs to get away with smuggling the cocoon, which carries a death penalty, by taking the murder charge, which is probably just prison time, perhaps for life. Oh, man.
Apollo Eustace.
Eustace.
That's it. I'm getting my mallet.
That's justice. Better learn how to say it if you ever want to get some. Believe. I no shooting. Maki claims Mr. Latouche was already down on the ground when he entered the room. Maybe it was a trap, and he walked right into it? Suddenly, I hear revolver. Close, very close. Then, I hear voice. You heard gunshots? Yes, it is true. Oh, is true. I hear revolver, but only sound. Wait, you're saying you went into the dressing room and found Mr. Latouche already dead? And then you heard shots? Oh, man. It was the shots played over the speaker. If that's true... So, you were at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots? And you escaped through the air vent. I know. Huh? What do you know? I know if I opening vent, I can leave stage and backstage. So the vents went to both the stage and the backstage area. Is that what he means? Hey. Oh, hey, he's right. Look, Apollo. Yeah.
Well, that was not there before, I swear to God.
But how do you know it was connected like that? Wait. I bet his father was the architect who designed that hall or something.
I kind of doubt that.
I hear this from Magician. Magician? Don't look at me! A magician, huh? Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Maki didn't shoot Mr. Latouche.
Yeah, but what does that leave us with? We're supposed to say he went into the room to find the body and then he heard the shots? That one's going to go over well in court. Not?
Apollo, you're his defense. You're supposed to believe whatever he says, even lies. That's what Daddy always told me.
I'll just pretend you misheard him. Every time. So, what do we do?
You're sure you won't testify, Maki? No talking. No. Well, it was worth a shot.
Oh, jeez. Don't know if that sound picked up, but that was a loud noise in the background. It's gone now, so we're good. That cocoon.
I can't go home. Can't go home? I can't go home to Virginia. I do not want to go home. The penalty for taking a cocoon from Virginia is death.
That's right. It's punishable by death.
Of course. He's scared.
Oh well. I guess we'll just have to try a different approach.
That's the spirit, Apollo. So, what's your plan?
If Maki won't testify about it, we'll have to get someone else to testify.
Someone else?
I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there.
Right. Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor. We have had a good talk.
Very well. So, will he testify?
Your Honor, the defendant will not testify.
What?
Shame. And here I thought this was your big chance to turn the case around. Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor.
A different angle?
If Maki won't testify, then I know who will. I would like to cross-examine the witness in this case, Lemire.
Lemire?
What are you up to now? I thought we determined yesterday that Lemire's testimony was insubstantial. There's nothing for you to... Lemire was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries.
What happened?
She was assaulted, Your Honor.
Assaulted?
Someone wanted Lemire dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself. What? I've heard no such report. Prosecutor Gavin, why would anyone be out to kill Lemire? Can you think of a reason?
Well,
think of how she is known in our country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English, yes? Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could that have been?
You don't think...
I do. It is the same person who shot Mr. Latouche. The killer was afraid of her, afraid of what she might say. The defense believed that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out. So, am I to understand that this is what you are saying? Namely, that there is a nugget of truth in Lemire's testimony. A nugget we have yet to uncover. Exactly.
If Lemire was attacked, this has serious implications. Very well. There were some vague points in her testimony during yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into some. The court will hear Lemire's testimony once more.
Lemire, I must apologize. We must ask you to stand again and speak. You need not apologize. I know that Maki is innocent, and I will do all that I can until the court realizes this. Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and the shooter's voice through the window, and that the voice belonged to Darian Crescent, yes? That is correct. At which point I proved she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window at the scene was closed and was found to be quite soundproof.
You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice?
I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something there. There is, it seems, much you do not know.
And yet it is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness would be so kind as to testify once more to the court.
Of course, Your Honor. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them. Mr. Latouche and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. There was the smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window.
You smelled gunpowder from beyond the window. Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony. Okay. Darian shot Latouche through the window, then closed the window. Then he left a receiver, the headpiece, that was dropped in front of the doors. He was on the stage listening for the footsteps, and then he did hear footsteps. He heard someone enter the room. That's when he caused gunshot sounds to ring out through the speaker, because he knew that would create a fake perpetrator. And that moment where he did that was when he went off beat at the mixing board. But that still leaves a complete mystery behind the remote trigger for the fire. Wait, did I just see something? Is that a speaker on it? Hold on. That's a speaker. It can make noise. Or maybe not. There's an opening on the left there. Okay. Still a few holes here. Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony.
I am sorry. I am not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet, everything I have said here is the truth.
Then it is my distinct displeasure to say this. What you have said to have happened is impossible.
Do I have to repeat myself? Lemire was attacked because of this testimony.
What?
Trucy?
Apollo? You know, for a moment there, you were pretty cool. Maybe I do better when I don't try to think ahead.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can coolly cross-examine the witness.
Okay, I'm gonna need to hear all about this gunpowder smell. The smell of gunpowder. Tell me about this. Why didn't you tell someone immediately? Oh, that's the wrong thing I want to ask about.
Well,
If it were me, I would have gone to the police right away. It's our duty as citizens.
This may be beside the point, but Lemire isn't a citizen. Though one would hope such common sense prevails in Virginia as well.
Lemire seems awfully quiet all of a sudden.
That's strange. Could she be hiding something?
It is as you say, yet at the same time, I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past a small window.
Yeah. You are in a hurry to go where?
I was on my way to the backstage exit, as I have said.
Why were you in such a hurry then?
Oh well, I don't think that has anything to do with this case.
It very well might. Please answer the question. Are you all right, Lemire?
Yes. Yes, I am just tired.
Recall what I told you yesterday, Air Forehead. Lemire suffers from serious amnesia. Oh, right, I did forget about that. Holy crap. Please refrain from traumatizing her further. What? So he can just dismiss questions he thinks are too traumatizing? Why don't you prove her reason had a connection to the case before asking about it, yeah? The prosecution's objection is sustained. The current question is moot. Mr. Justice, please continue with your cross-examination. Lemire was attacked because of this testimony. I know she was, so something's got to be hidden here. I guess I'll just have to get her to fill in the blanks. Okay, let's press this first half.
Is something wrong?
I raised an objection, but she's saying the same thing she said before. Mr. Justice? Sorry, it's nothing. Please continue with your testimony. Now I know what they mean about the reckless youth these days. The one in red over there is a shining example, Air Judge. You're the last person who should be pointing fingers, Mr. Rockstar.
That's when I heard them. Mr. Latouche and the detective.
Darien Crescent?
I did not know his name at the time. But yes, it was him, the one who took the stand yesterday.
How many times do I need to remind you that's impossible? There is no way you could have heard him. Because the window at the scene was closed.
Is that why?
Of course.
Apollo, if we keep asking the same questions as yesterday, we won't get anywhere.
She's right. Maybe there's a different angle I can try. Thank friggin' God, what were they talking about? Lemire, do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us.
I have given it much reflection, but...
I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember.
I only heard one phrase clearly.
A whole phrase? You remember something that was said? Why didn't you say anything yesterday?
Though my memory is clear, I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said.
This could be it. The clue I've been waiting for. Well, what did he say?
It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche.
The shooter, then. Darien Crescent. Well, what did he say?
It's over. Press the switch now.
Switch? And the shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Latouche?
I thought it quite strange myself afterward.
It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this?
Sure, it's very, very vital. Maybe we could add that to the testimony. Maybe, Apollo? From the small window, I heard a voice say, "Press the switch now."
And it was Detective Darien Crescent's voice.
Yes, I am sure of it.
It's over, press the switch. Why would he say that to Mr. Latouche?
Apollo, the murder weapon, the revolver, was Mr. Latouche's, right?
Yeah, what of it?
Well, maybe when he said, "Press the switch," He really meant to say, pull the trigger.
No.
Because his English isn't so good.
Darian Crescent is a native speaker.
Oh, right. Sorry, I kind of forgot who was what.
Press the switch. That's not something the killer usually says to his or her victim, is it? Was there no one else in the room?
I do not know. All I heard was Mr. Latouche and the detective.
A voice said, press the switch now. Well, this is where we bring up the remote trigger, but... Oh. The trigger couldn't be there because if it was, the couch would be set on fire. Okay. Press the switch. There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words. Oh? Yet there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch, save the lights. True, there wasn't a switch at the scene, but it just so happens I have a switch right here. That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it? Ah. It wasn't the killer at the scene who had the switch. The killer was speaking through a headpiece to communicate to someone else to pull the switch. Oh man, okay. The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage. The stage? Where the concert was held, yes. This was found hidden there. On the stage. Are you claiming that the voice Lemira heard was of someone commanding another to press this switch? It's a possibility. Oh, Air Forehead. I'd call that an impossibility. Why? It's hardly necessary for me to remind the court of the layout of the concert forum. The stage is quite far from Lemira's dressing room. Not to mention that the Gaviners were in the middle of the concert on said stage. We aren't known for being a quiet band. Have you forgotten about your headpieces? You could shout all you wanted and not be heard.
The detective's voice was loud, but certainly not a shout.
So, too, have Air Forehead's cries of possibility fallen far short of being heard. Sorry, but he wouldn't have needed to shout. Excuse me? You heard what I said, or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from that dressing room. Oh, wait, you like evidence, don't you? How about this? Using this, it would be easy to get a message to someone on stage from the dressing room. The headset. Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this? Oh, why, that's... What? What is it? Is that some kind of newfangled phone they invented while I wasn't looking? This is a type of transmitter. A communications device. Communications? Device? Metal Gear? From what I've... Oh, everyone on stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, actually. They're for talking between band members. We all had one on. So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple. Objection! True, but wait. Those send out an electronic signal.
To avoid interference with the audio systems, their range is quite limited.
Lemire said it was about 30 feet, right?
Look at this cross-sectional diagram of the concert forum. Exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far, but the direct distance is less than 30 feet. That can't be. So, when Lemire heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage. It was Maki Tabai. I think Darien blackmailed Maki with the cocoon matter. I think Darien, being a detective, or maybe even the buyer, blackmailed Maki Tabai into doing this for him with the promise that he'd keep the cocoon matter a secret. But Maki wouldn't know what pulling the trigger would do. You're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at the time? It could have been placed in a pocket and carried anywhere. Someone could have hid it on the stage after the fact.
Hey, he's got a point. How do we know where it was when she said when she heard the voice? When the shooter said, press the switch.
Well, I guess we don't. An unfortunate situation. I'm afraid that until we know where the switch was, there is little point in debating it. I was sure this was the way to go with this. What is this switch, anyway? We don't even know we don't know that basic fact. Wait a second. I do know what this switch is. And if you follow that train of logic to its incredible conclusion, it ends up in proof that completely changes this case.
What's up, Apollo? Apollo?
We know about this switch, right? We know what it is.
Yeah?
Well, think of when it was used that day. Think of what happened. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further information to share concerning this switch...
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Justice? I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what the switch is. Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking the switch to the case. Let's see your evidence of the link. What evidence do you have to explain what the switch is? The igniter. If I trigger the switch, this will burst into flames.
Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this?
That what? Is it another one of those newfangled phones? This is an igniter. What phone looks like this? Igniter? You mean it's like a lighter? Yes, actually. You aren't saying this switch is a remote. I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter. What? Look, I'll show you. Yow! Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom. Sorry, that was a bit more fire than I'd expected. If my whiskers had caught on fire... What a tragedy. Oh man, now I'm imagining clean-shaven judge. That looked weird. Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote igniter trigger. Doesn't that suggest something to you? You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you?
Exactly. That night at the concert, there was one unusual burst of flame. When your guitar caught fire in the middle of your performance. Wasn't that part of the stage show, though? Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware such a thing had been planned, and the guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake.
That's right. He got it in Virginia from Lemire. He said the sound was amazing, before it burned, of course. Now it just kind of smokes.
The better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Air forehead. Yes? Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things together. Those being the shooter's voice, heard by Lemire, and the guitar suddenly catching on fire. I am. It's really simple when you think about it. Mr. Latouche and the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed, and the guitar caught fire. Well, that does seem to make sense. Though something about it is bugging me. Can't quite put my finger on it. Really? It seems pretty simple to me. Objection! Air forehead, don't destroy what little respect I have for you. I was expecting something a little more sensible. I guess I was wrong. What's this all about, Prosecutor Gavin? His simple story simply makes no sense. Think, that night my guitar caught fire, yes? The cause may have been this indeed. However, the guitar caught fire during the second set. Well, yeah, this just proves that the shooting happened. Oh, wait. Lemire was there. Crap. Wait, no, this is where the disappearing act comes in. This is why she was in such a rush. She was trying to keep a valiant secret here. She was backstage to hear it during the second set. Oh man, okay.
Ah, that's right, of course. The guitar caught fire during Lemire's song.
Indeed. Yeah, the shooting happened during the third set. The two are utterly unrelated. Yes, that must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise for this is faulty. See? His story makes no sense. Objection! Are you sure about that? What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice? Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far. What premise is this specifically? I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act. Yeah! Objection! What's this? But Detective Emma Skye heard shots and found the body. All of this happened in the third act. Objection! Gunshots rang out, and according to his testimony, Maki was in that dressing room at the time. Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice? Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us this in his testimony. Namely, that the victim had already been shot. We all heard gunshots, but no one saw the shooting. This is insane. Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on his headset, telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that a remote-triggered igniter was inside the guitar. From all these facts, we can draw only one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act. What? Order, order, order. But that goes against the evidence. What does, Your Honor? This crime is carried out according to the lyrics of the song, yes?
Hey, he's right. Look. The bullet is supposed to come after the fire.
You're thinking about it the wrong way.
Huh?
Look, why would the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyway? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through, with little merit for the person doing it. Well, I'm sure whoever it was had some reason. Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics. You're saying the order was reversed on purpose? Reversed, Prosecutor Gavin. If the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes, the shooting would have had to come after the guitar burst into flame. Yet Air Forehead has raised another possibility. He's claiming that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire. Couldn't have put it better myself. We were only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was a ruse. Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he'd followed the lyrics the whole way. Order! 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 That would explain this most unusual situation. It does. The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly, it has. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Oh, it sounds good, I'll give you that. You've given us a reason why the killer bothered following the lyrics of my song. But I question your logic, for it's flawed from the very beginning. Flawed? Yes. A contradiction, Air Forehead. One I've pointed out several times, no less. At the time of the crime, the small window at the scene was closed. How could Lemire have heard a voice through it? Oh. I know that you would like to divert our attention from that critical fact, but you're basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise. Right. Lemire's testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard, the shooter's voice.
What if she couldn't hear it, Apollo?
Look, what do we have? A man saying press the switch? And near the crime scene, we have a switch, which acts as a remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. It can't all be coincidence, but how do I make it work? I see a more direct line of questioning is required. When the crime scene was investigated immediately after the crime, that window was closed. Care to tell us how Lemire heard the voice? A key point to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court? Okay, Justice. You've got one thing to prove, and one thing only. Lemire heard a voice, and she heard it during the second set. Think, how was Lemire able to hear the voice? She was somewhere else. When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reasoning to close it, had it been open either. It's part of Valent's trick. The air vents. Meaning it was impossible to hear the voice through that window. It's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment I was afraid you might be a Borginian too. As I was saying, Lemire could not hear the voice through that window. So there can be only one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely. Well, what's this? Man, I know this video is going on long, but you can't quit a Phoenix Wright or Apollo Justice video, Ace Attorney video, while this Cornered soundtrack is going. That's a war crime. You do amuse me so. And here I thought you and Good Sense were back on speaking terms. Now, I'm afraid you and Good Sense speak two entirely different languages. Shall I interpret for you, Air Forehead? Lemire clearly stated she heard the voice through that small window. And there was only one small window at the scene. Are you sure? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene?
There is?
I know that look. He wants us to ask him. Very well. You claim Lemire heard the voice from another location. Mr. Justice, show us where this location was. Lemire heard the voice from here.
Boop.
Wait, that's the wrong vent, isn't it? No, I need to pan over to the left, to the ladder. Oh. The state of modern society can be read from numerous objects and artifacts. In a sense, anything can be a window on our society. Oh, I'm really glad I made that mistake. That was friggin' hilarious. Oh, man. Right. This air vent. This is where Lemire heard that voice from. But that's no small window. That's the air vent. What did she tell us? She said she's a Borginian, unfamiliar with our language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called the air vent a small window. Now you've done it. You've gone beyond ridiculous and into ludicrous. So Lemire was up in the ventilation system listening to this man's voice? That's the only logical explanation, yes. Logical. I do not think this word means what you think it means, Air Forehead. Okay, what about it isn't logical? Huh, it hardly merits saying. Why would Lemire be in the ventilation system? Hiding like a rat. No offense to her, of course. The explanation for that is simple, Prosecutor Gavin. Isn't it, Lemire? You have been listening to our discussion here, yes?
Yes. I admit it's had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, the small window was closed. Well, why should that mean I could not hear through it? I feared our prosecutor might himself need an interpreter.
The problem here is words. Lemire, this small window through which you heard the voice, was it up high on the ceiling of the room, not low on a wall?
Yes, it was up on the ceiling.
What?
Order, order! I will have order! Witness, you will clarify this statement to the court. Are you, in fact, saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room? And that's where you heard the moment of the crime?
Yes, in fact, I was. I am sorry. I never imagined it would become such an important point.
Yes, well, why the heck were you up there?
I believe it's time for another testimony.
I'm not sure. I can't.
May I remind you, this is a murder trial. We will hear your testimony. Tell us why you witnessed the crime from above the ceiling of that room. Please.
Well, looks like I'm on the right track. Oh, okay, we're done. That's a large air vent. That's a really large air vent, but then I guess it was specifically made for the magic trick, so... This case is definitely looking a lot clearer. It's really, really, really looking like Darian did it. And he made Maki an unwitting accomplice. And the Fall Man. Huh. Well, this video's gone on long enough. Usually I'd like to talk more, but I'm really hungry. Like, really freaking hungry. I'm gonna go get me some food. So, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time when we shed more light on this mysterious, mysterious circumstance. Until then, please take care.